Research design, sample, and data. We coded mainstream videos from Pornhub, the world's largest adult website according to Alexa Internet Incorporated. In 2018, the website reported 33.5 billion visits. This figure reflects a steady decrease in the number of people who pay for porn, who, according to recent estimates, make up only about 10% of porn viewers. In 2018, the average age of Pornhub users was 35, with 29% of users being women. Pornhub serves as a video sharing hub, hosting videos from and links to other sites such as RedTube, XTube, and YouPorn. It therefore serves as the largest base of freely available and easily accessible online pornography. Pornhub is also user-friendly and keeps track of the number of views per video, much like YouTube. In line with recent studies, we sought to analyze the most watched videos from each of our predefined categories, rather than employing convenience or random sampling methods. This strategy is designed to explore the content that is most likely to be widely watched and therefore have a potentially larger social impact. Hence, all the videos in our sample were watched at least 1.75 million times. Purposive sampling for sexual diversity. Most previous content analyses of aggression in pornography were not able to reach substantial variation in gender combinations, e.g. male-female, female-female, male-male, either because they targeted the most watched or rented videos, or because they used convenience or random sampling techniques. We therefore chose to employ a purposive sampling technique. We first sampled 70 most watched videos from Pornhub's all-time most viewed list, henceforth heterosexual or male-female, which included sexual interactions between a man and a woman. We excluded from the analysis 2 videos with more than 2 participants and 1 with only 1 participant. Next, we purposively sampled the all-time most watched videos from 2 menu categories of Pornhub, 70 videos from the gay male-male category and 70 videos from the lesbian female-female category. This sampling strategy resulted in a pool of 210 videos. All videos were uploaded to Pornhub between 2008 and 2016. More than 90% of the videos were produced professionally, and their length ranged from 2.7 minutes to 51.5 minutes. When coding the dominant and submissive partners' roles in male-female videos, we assigned M1 to the male and F1 to the female, since all clips employed a heteronormative script that cast women in a submissive and men in a dominant position. In clips containing aggression, the dominant male partner was the aggressor. Importantly, none of the male-female clips featured female aggression, while in clips without aggression, the dominant male partner was the initiator and penetrator. All videos in the same-sex couples also had a clear initiator, and most mirrored a dominant-submissive dichotomy found in the heterosexual videos. For the female-female clips, the woman who initiated sexual activity expressed aggression. In clips containing aggression, penetrated the other woman. In clips featuring sex toys, or possessed some form of social or economic power, e.g. employer, teacher, or stepmother, was coded as dominant. For the male-male clips, the man who initiated sexual activity expressed aggression. In clips containing aggression, or possessed some form of social or embodied power, e.g. larger size, was coded as dominant. Still, we coded and analyzed any instances of reverse aggression and dominating behavior in all videos. 3 of the female-female clips featured mutual sex toy penetration, and 3 of the male-male clips featured mutual anal penetration. To maximize intercoder reliability, Tinsley and Weiss 2000, the same coding strategy of assigning M1 to the dominant partner was applied to each clip. In terms of sexual acts, however, we had to adopt a more sophisticated coding strategy. Certain acts, e.g. cunnilingus, were not relevant for clips featuring 2 men, and while penetration for male-female videos always referred to a flesh penis, in female-female clips, penetration referred to a sex toy and/or digits, and could have been initiated by either performer. We also thematically coded the tags associated with each clip, dividing them into categories, such as descriptions of body parts, e.g. breasts, penis size, location, e.g. couch, or sexual acts, e.g. oral sex. Our main goal throughout coding was to compare aggression against and pleasure displays among women in male-female videos to aggression against and pleasure displays of more submissive, non-dominant individuals in the male-male and female-female videos. We should note that although none of the analyzed clips indicated the involvement of trans performers, we can neither assume nor ascertain that all performers were cisgender. Conceptual definitions and operational measurements. Aggression, violence. McKee, 2005-2015, has discussed at length various methodological and conceptual issues related to defining aggression in content analyses of sexually explicit materials, SEM. He argued that although most former analyses of sexually explicit materials have dismissed consent in their definition of aggression, this omission leads to problems in understanding the relationship between sexually explicit materials and healthy sexual development. He therefore advocated for a careful inspection of the interactions in sexually explicit material, treating consent as an ongoing process, which considers the entirety of the sexual interaction and considers both physical and verbal expressions of consent. While McKee's insights are important for our understanding and treatment of aggression in pornography, the majority of former content analyses in this field have used a much broader definition of aggression that does not focus on consent. Barron and Kimmel, 2010, Bridges et al., 2010. Bridges et al., 2010, summarized the rationale for employing a broader and more inclusive definition, claiming that the pornography genre often requires performers to express consent and enjoyment following virtually any act or situation. Considering these powerful expectations, they argued, almost no act would be coded as aggressive under a definition that requires a target to clearly show displeasure, rendering sexual aggression invisible. Bridges et al., 2010, therefore defined aggression as any purposeful action causing physical or psychological harm to oneself or another person, whereby psychological harm is understood as assaulting another verbally or non-verbally. Recognizing the merits of both approaches, in the present study we adopted two different operational measurements of aggression. The first, in line with Bridges et al. 2010 and most previous studies, focuses on the acts themselves and on the apparent intent to cause harm. Following this definition, henceforth physical aggression visible, we coded the following acts as physically aggressive: biting, pinching, kicking, pulling hair, hitting of the face, hitting of the body, choking, forced gagging, spanking, sadomasochism, rough handling, e.g. pushing, shoving, shaking, and forceful penetration, vaginal or anal, with penis, hand, or another object, with an apparent intent to cause pain or discomfort. We also noted the duration of each of these acts relative to the duration of the entire video. Next, in line with McKee's 2015 conceptualization of aggression, henceforth physical aggression, non-consensual, we monitored both verbal and physical cues for lack of consent. These could include explicit verbal requests or attempts to stop or avoid an act, nonverbal signs of resistance, or evident unhappiness at being in the situation or performing a certain act. We coded videos featuring such cues as containing non-consensual aggression. In addition to physical aggression, we also coded for verbal aggression. Verbal aggression was measured by noting any instances and duration of yelling, name-calling, threatening, and swearing. Since swearing is a language of emotion and is common during sex, Barron 2017, we coded swearing only when curses were used to describe an individual and directed at them, rather than undirected utterances of pleasure such as fuck yeah or shit that feels good. Given the connections between degradation, humiliation, and aggression, and in line with previous content analyses, we analyzed both aggressive and potentially degrading sexual acts. Based on previous work, we coded two behaviors, ejaculation in the mouth and ejaculation on the face, as humiliating. Affection, pleasure. While much of the previous research on pornography focused mainly on aggression and degradation, it is important to also examine whether and to what extent Internet pornography depicts displays of mutual affection, pleasure, and satisfaction by both partners. We therefore coded the presence and relative length of affectionate acts, including kissing, hugging, caressing, praising, and sweet-talking. In addition, we noted pleasure responses and displays, e.g. moaning, screaming in pleasure, or clearly showing a climax, particularly by the non-dominant partner. Critics of mainstream pornography often charge that it is focused on men's pleasure while completely neglecting women's pleasure. We examine this claim, as well as whether same-sex videos present a more egalitarian picture of sexual pleasure and satisfaction, as suggested by Lamont's 2017 study on same-sex sexual scripts and norms. Although pleasure responses and displays are probably often staged, we believe that they are nevertheless important because they signal that everyone involved in the sexual act is entitled to enjoy it. Covariates. We coded information for 6 theoretically important covariates. Elsewhere, we have detailed the coding procedures of the following covariates: the racial combination of partners in the video, the approximate age of the partners, whether the video is amateur or professional, the duration of the video, the average number of views, and the year in which the video was uploaded to Pornhub. Our previous analyses suggested that sexual interactions between racial minority individuals tend to include more aggression, while the effective age on aggression remains unclear. Amateur videos are expected to contain less aggressive and degrading acts and more affectionate acts, as less dominant partners may have more control. Next, longer videos should have a higher likelihood of presenting both aggressive and affectionate acts, simply because they contain more sexual content. Finally, we controlled for the year in which the video was uploaded to Pornhub to account for potential temporal changes in the content of pornographic videos. Coding. All videos were coded by a female graduate student familiar with sexually explicit material from previous research projects. The coder first met several times with the project leader, who trained her in the method and coding scheme. Before coding the actual sample, she coded 5 trial videos and then met with the project leader to discuss the coding and resolve unclear issues before proceeding to code all 210 videos. Next, the project leader watched all videos to ascertain coding accuracy and independently coded the main variables of interest. Intercoder agreement was generally good, with 86% agreement for visible aggression and 96.67% agreement for non-consensual aggression. Kappa statistic scores for these measures were 0.79 and 0.82 respectively. In the very few disputable cases, the coder and the project leader discussed the issue until they reached an agreement. While previous studies often used scene or character as their unit of analysis, Bridges et al. 2010, Klasser and Peter 2015, we chose to use the entire video as our unit of analysis to prevent overrepresentation for longer videos. We should note, however, that most of the videos in our sample only consisted of one sex scene. Analysis. We conducted both bivariate and multivariate analyses to examine the relationship between the type of dyad, male-female, male-male, and female-female, and various measures of aggression and affection, pleasure. We first compared the mean frequency of aggressive and affectionate acts in videos from both the gay, male-male, and lesbian, female-female categories to their frequency in videos from the heterosexual, male-female category, conducting t-tests to evaluate whether differences in frequency were significant. Next, we conducted a multivariate analysis for the most important dependent variables: visual aggression, non-consensual aggression, affection, pleasure response by the non-dominant partner, and the performance of climax by the non-dominant partner. As each of these variables has a binary measure, i.e. whether they appear in a given video, we used logistic regression in all multivariate analyses, controlling for the covariates described above. Findings: overall aggression and pleasure responses. In Table 1, we present comparisons for measures of aggression and humiliation and affection and pleasure. In contrast to our predictions, male-male and female-female videos were more likely to include aggression than male-female ones. Visible aggression, not considering consent, was present in about 1/4 of all male-male and female-female videos, 25.7% and 24.3% respectively, compared with 12.9% of male-female videos. Non-consensual aggression was most common in gay videos, 14.3%, followed by lesbian videos, 5.7%, while only one video, 1.4%, in the heterosexual sample portrayed such aggression. The difference was only statistically significant between the gay and the heterosexual categories. While no videos in the heterosexual sample included verbal aggression, such aggression was present in a few male-male and female-female videos, although not frequently. N equals 2 and N equals 5 respectively. Table 2 shows that the majority of the differences in aggression between different sex and same-sex videos are statistically significant even when controlling for other factors. Model 1 of the table shows that both male-male and female-female clips were more likely to include visible aggression than male-female clips. Model 2 shows that this is also the case for non-consensual aggression in the male-male subsample versus the male-female subsample, with the former more likely to include videos portraying non-consensual aggression. Our results, see Table 1, show that the variation in overall aggression across our three subsamples has multiple sources. When compared with the male-female clips, male-male clips were more likely to include acts of forceful anal penetration and gagging, as well as spanking, face and body hitting, and rough handling. However, due to the low frequency of these practices in all categories, these differences were not statistically significant. Certain tags were highly correlated with visible and non-consensual aggression among male-male clips. 40% of such clips were tagged with twink, a term used to refer to small, thin, and often effeminate bottoms. 60% were tagged with big or large dick, referencing masculinity, and 53% were tagged with terms indicating a distinct power differential between the men, e.g. daddy's son, bear, twink. By contrast, while 26% of male-female clips were tagged with big or large dick, only 3 male-female videos included forced gagging, and only 1 male-female video was tagged with gagging. Table 1 shows that videos in the female-female subsample were also more likely to include acts of spanking, hair pulling, face and body hitting, choking, and rough handling than those in the male-female subsample. The difference was statistically significant for spanking, face hitting, and rough handling. As with the male-male clips, specific tags were highly correlated with both visible and non-consensual aggression. 65% of the female-female clips featuring visible and or non-consensual aggression, and 75% of the clips featuring non-consensual aggression were tagged with toys or strap-on, with the aggressive woman penetrating the non-dominant woman. 53% were tagged with terms indicating a distinct power differential between the women, e.g. teacher-student, MILF-teen, and somewhat curiously, tags highlighting a distinction in breast size, i.e. big tits, small tits, were present in 20% of the female-female clips featuring some form of aggression. By contrast, while tags indicating breast size were present in 33% of the male-female clips, only 4% of these featured some form of aggression. While acts of aggression were more common in the same-sex subsamples, acts that are often considered by some scholars as humiliating, such as ejaculation in the mouth or on the face of one's sexual partner, were considerably more common in the male-female subsample. Such acts were performed in about 1/4 to 1/3 of the videos in male-female clips, compared with 5% to 16% of the videos in male-male videos. The difference was only statistically significant for ejaculation in the mouth. Naturally, acts involving ejaculation did not occur at all in the female-female videos. While same-sex videos were more likely to include physical aggression, they were also much more likely to include mutual physical affection and pleasure displays by non-dominant partners. These pleasure displays included smiling, moaning, and specific affirmative verbal indications, e.g., yes or this feels good. Physical affection was present in all but one of the videos in the female-female sample, and almost 3/4 of the videos in the male-male sample, compared with less than 30% of the videos in the male-female sample. Affection displays were also more prominently featured in the same-sex videos in terms of scripts and plots. This is especially true for female-female videos, which portrayed particularly lengthy affection displays, comprising more than 15% of the total video time span in the average clip, compared with only about 2% of the time in the average male-female video. As for pleasure displays by non-dominant partners, differences between the male-female and the same-sex samples were particularly evident in terms of reaching or portraying a climax. While only 11.4% of the women in the male-female subsample reached or portrayed reaching a climax, more than half of the non-dominant men in the male-male subsample reached a climax, and 70% of the non-dominant women in the female-female subsample also reached or performed a climax. Models 3 to 5 of Table 2 demonstrate that these differences in affection, pleasure, and satisfaction were all statistically significant and substantial, with odds ratios ranging from 18.49 to 95.93 for the female-female subsample, even when controlling for other factors. Indeed, these differences in affection and pleasure responses were clearly more pronounced than differences in aggression between the three subsamples.